How's it going, guys and girls? Hope you guys are having a great weekend. So I'm back with another What Do We Know So Far video, and this one is focusing on Deus Ex Mankind Divided. So Deus Ex Mankind Divided is developed by Eidos Montreal, published by Square Enix, and it is set for release on the 23rd of August and is due to be released on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One and PC. Now, for those of you that don't know, Deus Ex Mankind Divided is a direct sequel to Deus Ex Human Revolution, and it is set before the events of the first game, so you actually don't need to play the original Deus Ex nor Deus Ex Invisible War. It is set in 2029, 2 years after the events of Human Revolution. So for those of you that haven't played Human Revolution, of course I would recommend that you go ahead and play that game if you have the time, especially if you want to gain a fuller understanding of the main character, the lore, the world, and the events prior to Mankind Divided. Now, for those of you that don't have the time to play that game, not to worry. I have actually produced 2 videos that are designed to help you out. The first is a story so far video, which is about 22 minutes in length, and it basically just covers and summarizes all the main events in the story. The second video, for those of you that have a little bit more time, is a full story video, which basically includes all of the main cinematics as well as the boss fights, and that's roughly about 3.5 hours in length, and it's pretty much like watching a very long movie where you can actually see exactly what happened. So I'm going to leave a link in this video here to both of those videos for you. It's entirely up to you which one you want to check out. But anyway, I hope you find them useful, and I hope they get you ready for Mankind Divided. So let's talk a little bit more about this game. So in Mankind Divided, you basically continue playing as Adam Jensen, the main protagonist. Now, it is set after the events of Human Revolution and after something called the Aug Incident, which was an event in which mechanically augmented humans became uncontrollable and lethally violent, killing thousands, possibly millions. Now, unbeknownst to the people at the end of Human Revolution, the affected augmented had actually received an implant, a biochip that was designed to control them by the shadowy Illuminati. This power was basically abused by a rogue member of the group to discredit Augmentations completely and turn public opinion against augmentation. Now, if you've played Human Revolution, you might be wondering whether or not the ending is going to come into play in Mankind Divided, and whether or not, we might have to take into account save files to bring forward, or if there'll be something online like a keep like there was with Dragon Age. Well, the developers of Mankind Divided have actually stated that the ending, whatever choice you made at the end of Human Revolution, isn't really going to impact upon Mankind Divided, and that actually the truth of the events have been sort of successfully concealed by the Illuminati behind rumors and disinformation. So nobody really knows what happened at Panchaea, nor what happened with augmented people, who was behind it, why it happened. Now, the world state that we find ourselves in, it's a much darker world. In Human Revolution, there was this view of a golden age of augmentation. People were increasingly gaining augmentations. They were, it was providing more opportunity, more freedom. There was quite a level of optimism about these augmentations. Well, the world is much, much darker in Mankind Divided, and instead augmented people now find themselves outcasts from humanity and are actually segregated and persecuted in an era of mechanical apartheid, as ordinary, normal people have develop a fear of augmentation, a fear of augmented people, that they could go crazy again, they might turn against them. So the world for augmented people at this time, it's quite terrible, quite dark, and it's quite a serious undertone, a serious theme that we're going to be exploring. Now, Adam Jensen himself no longer works as a security officer for Sarif Industries, which pretty much went bust after the Aug Incident and the backlash against augmentations. He is now instead working as part of something called Task Force 29, which is a subsidiary of Interpol, and their main goal is to capture terrorist groups of augmented humans. But secretly behind the scenes, Jensen is working for the Juggernaut Collective, a hacker group helping him to track down and confront the Illuminati, and that is his major goal in the game, to take down the Illuminati, who he sees as the bigger threat, and he basically wants to stop them pulling the strings and directing the world in a way that he completely disagrees with. So there has been a lot of video game footage. There's been a lot of demos that have been released and gameplay footage released by Eidos Montreal, and this basically, for me, it demonstrates how much faith they have in the game and how confident they feel. And I have to say that the gameplay looks absolutely incredible. Now, they've designed their entire game around 3 pillars, according to the developers. The first pillar is combat and stealth, the second is hacking, and the third is social. Now, for Eidos Montreal, they have said that in Mankind Divided, they want more player freedom and choice, and that this is really crucial to the overall game. And they want to give players the freedom to choose how to complete certain levels, how to approach certain missions, whether or not, you know, you'll decide to be lethal, non-lethal, whether you'll decide to go, you know, through a complete stealth run or combat. And they have also advised that they have improved on the boss fights, because this is one of the major things that people were critical of with Human Revolution, was that while through most of the game you might have played in stealth, the boss fights didn't really give you that option. You know, it was very jarring for many of you that had played a stealth run the entire time. So the boss fights now can actually be completed without taking a single life, and I assume they can also be completed stealthily as well. They have also wanted to make the balance between using stealth and using combat fairer and more balanced, so that you will actually gain experience points for either gameplay style, because, you know, in Human Revolution, if you chose not to play in stealth, if you chose to go into open combat, the game really punished you, and it was really difficult to go into open combat, and more times, you know, 9 out of 10 times you would end up dead, and it was extremely difficult. You wouldn't get that much experience from it compared to playing in a stealth run. So Human Revolution was really sort of pushing you towards that stealth dynamic, but actually in Mankind Divided, they have said that they want to give players complete freedom, so you can play how you want, and then if things go wrong, you can jump into combat. You can use lethal or non-lethal combat weapons as well. And that really brings me to talk a little bit about some of the augmentations. Now, there are some returning augmentations in the game. So Smart Vision is back, but it is upgraded. Now you can actually see the different weapons and ammo that enemies have, things that you can loot off of them. The cloak is back. The Typhoon combat system is back as well. And also the Icarus landing augmentation that you have as well, to be able to jump from high to low ground without dying. Now, it looks like from some of the gameplay that we've seen, particularly the Prague level, it does look like the levels are a lot more vertical. There is definitely a verticality to levels, and you can upgrade Adam Jensen's ability to jump, to run, so that you can gain access to different areas, and that provides a nice dynamic in terms of how you might get into certain areas and potential stealth options for you as well. So yeah, the levels look really nice and really good. Now there are some new augmentations that have me very excited. For a lethal takedown, we have the detachable nano ceramic blade, and this can be used as a projectile. You can use this basically to pin people onto the wall, effectively possibly killing them. And you can also use it as a kind of like a frag grenade kind of, or like a landmine, where you can actually shoot it into the ground between 2 or 3 enemies and then remotely detonate it, taking out all enemies in that area. We also have the protective nano shield, and that is very much designed to support people deciding to play through in complete open combat, because it does make Adam Jensen more survivable. It makes him stronger, a lot more so than he was in Human Revolution. And the third new augmentation that we've seen, which I really like the look of, is a fist-mounted electroshock system, very much like a taser gun, in that you can tag several people, I think up to 3 or 4 possibly. You can actually level it up so it can highlight and tag more people, but you can basically use it as a stealth takedown. So you can take everybody down in the area before moving it down into that. And yeah, I like the look of it. It looks really, really cool. One of the nice new additions to the game as well is weapon customization. So this is one of the features that was severely lacking in Human Revolution, an inability to customize your weapons. And I love it. I love the look of this weapon customization. You can customize things like silencers, your sights on there. But what has me really excited is the ability to customize ammunition types. types, from sort of fire bullets to explosive rounds to EMP rounds to take out drones, cameras and so on. I really like the look of that. So it looks like the RPG elements in Mankind Divided have been really developed and improved upon, and I can't wait to experiment with that, and I like it. It's nice that you can customize the way in which you equip your Jensen in terms of how you want him to play through a mission. And it's also nice because you can actually customize your weapons on the fly, so you don't have to do it at base. You can actually change your ammunition type in the heat of a battle to change how you're going to respond to what's happening around you. Hacking, of course, is back and is a bigger part of the game as ever. The ability to hack drones, to hack cameras, to use these to your advantage, to use them against enemies. But also, for the first time as well, we also have remote hacking, which is really, really, really useful in terms of being able to stay in cover and remote hack something. Because one of the things I really hated about Human Revolution was the fact that you had to literally go up to a point to hack it, and that often meant that you were out of cover and you were extremely vulnerable. So the ability to remote hack something is really nice, and it should open up quite a bit in terms of the gameplay. The conversation battle mechanic is back. Again, this is a massive part of the game in terms of discussing, having conversations with certain characters in the world and being able to use your augmentations to manipulate them to gain information that you might need. But I really enjoyed the conversation battle mechanic in Human Revolution, and I'm very happy to see it back here. There is a massive push on RPG from the looks of it, and the developers have said that rather than it just being certain kind of key junction points in the game where you'll make decisions to go one way or the other, and this will affect the overall arching story and the events, that there are actually going to be minute by minute decisions that you will make within a mission that can affect your success and affect the outcome of a mission, and also later on down the story. Now, one of the missions that they used to show this was the Dubai mission, and they were actually talking about it, and sort of talking about in the Dubai mission there is a sandstorm. Now, the speed at which you complete the mission can affect whether or not that sandstorm has come in at the end. Your decision to move through it stealthily, to take down the helicopter, or to go in guns blazing, or blow the helicopter up. That again can affect your degree of success, whether or not you destroyed the helicopter, whether or not you were able to save one of your allies in the combat as well. So all these little things can impact upon the game, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how that plays out. Now, the final mode that they have shown, it's not really a mode I'm overly interested in, but hey, I'm going to talk about it because obviously you guys should know about it, but it's called the Breach mode. It's a new gameplay mode, completely new. Basically it has 75 levels of platforming or puzzle solving or stealth. It's a virtual reality kind of world with a very new kind of visual style, a sort of stylized polygonal look, and in it you play as a Ripper or a hacker, and your role basically is to hack into and infiltrate corporate servers, and as you're within these levels you have to steal private corporate information, and circumvent certain enemy bosses or patrol drones or whatever, and exit the level in a given time. And the idea is to try to uncover and expose the corruption within these corporations. Now, it is kind of a side-on thing to the main campaign, but there is some degree of multiplayerness to it as well, in the way that you can actually challenge your friends with different modifiers that you can put on, and also different maps. So you can challenge your friends to complete a map completely stealthy, or to complete a map in a particular time frame, or that kind of thing. Now, if you beat if your friend is able to beat your score, then they get, I think, XP or credits or money that they can spend within the game, and so on. But that is pretty much everything that we know so far about Mankind Divided. Now, I'm extremely excited about Deus Ex Mankind Divided. It's one of my most anticipated games coming out this year. I'm a massive, massive fan of the Deus Ex world. I absolutely love the world, the characters, the lore, and I can't wait to explore this world in a lot more detail. I will definitely be doing a full Let's Play of the game, so I hope you guys will stick around to check that out. If you haven't already done so, as I say, please check out my information videos on Deus Ex Human Revolution to find out a little bit more about the world world and see if this is something that might interest you to explore when it comes out on August 23rd. But anyway, I hope you guys are having a great weekend. Take care, and as always, happy gaming.